And we are now live. Good afternoon, Crystal. How are you?
I am good. And yourself?
I am good. I'm having a
Yes.
really good Monday.
Oh,
So
good.
that's good. Got some things accomplished. That's good.
Awesome.
And
Awesome.
yeah, got
I
got some reservations. I don't know if you know this, but I am flying to North Carolina tomorrow morning.
Oh, so North Carolina is didn't you go there last year or something?
I did. I did go
Oh,
there. It
okay.
was last year or something. Maybe I don't know if it was last year, but you're right. I did go. Yeah,
Okay. All
yeah.
righty.
They let me
Well,
come back, so
they let you
I'm
come
gonna go.
back. Okay. Well, that's
Yeah.
cool. And how long will you be gone?
Till the 25th.
Okay, cool. Well, have a fantastic time. Make sure you check your airfare. What airline you going on?
Well, I'm flying American.
Oh, okay. Just make sure you had an app and make sure you have all alerts.
Oh, yes,
My nephew got
yes.
stuck coming in from St. Lucia last on Saturday night. I
Oh,
felt we felt like we were on the flight with him because by the time he got rerouted to Newark, they canceled his
yeah.
flight
Oh
and he
my God.
couldn't get back home until the next day. And he
Oh
had to
my
fly
goodness.
into Charlotte, North
Oh
Carolina,
wow.
so he could
Yeah.
drive to Savannah.
Oh, that's a drive. That
And
is
there
a
was
drive.
over 300 people on the flight. My
Oh
sister was
no.
the line was so long, he was just waiting in line. My sister was on hold trying to get to a ticket agent 2 hours.
Now, what was the cause of all this?
Storms back east.
Uh,
Yeah, storms and floods and staffing.
wow. Wow. Wow.
Yeah, so
That's
just
great.
download the app. That's all I say. Download the app.
That's a good idea. That's a good
Yeah.
idea. Really, I will do that.
Yeah, because the weather back there is crazy. But cool. That should be fun. It is hot, but
Yeah. It is going to be hot. It's going to be very hot, and I'm not exactly sure how to deal with that because I've been living out here in um, God's country for so long. I've turned into a weather wimp.
yes,
I just
anyone in
can't
the
help
state of California
it.
is a
Yeah,
or the Southern California is a weather
I
wimp.
yes, I think we can handle the extremes. We're just a lot more grumpy and volatile about them.
Right. I heard a
Yeah,
lady say today, she goes, "Oh man, this humidity." I went, "Humidity? What?" We don't have any stinking humidity. That's how,
I'm super excited about our topic, but I got to tell you, I just went to that town
oh,
a few weeks ago, and I've been dying to go there. I didn't even know it was actually a real town, but I went there, and I was just blown away at how cool that little town is. Have you been there to Sierra Madre?
no, have I been to San Madre? I think I've driven through it and maybe
Yeah,
stopped. I don't think
on the
I've spent
210.
any.
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't think I've spent.
yeah.
'Cause that's on the other side of Glendale, right?
I would think so. Yes, because you're
Yeah,
on the right off the 210, and you
yeah.
take that. Yeah,
I think I've driven through it by
yeah.
coming through and from Glendale, but
Going to
all of that out
Pasadena or something
there,
like that.
yeah,
Yeah.
all of that out there is pretty nice. That's the San Gabriel Valley.
Yeah, very
Mhm.
nice. Very
Mhm.
nice.
Yeah,
That's
very,
the
very.
San Gabriel Valley. That is it. I thought
I
the
think
San
that's
Gabriel Valley was north the other way, up like the 5 and the 405.
I think it's borderline, kind of, sorta. I think
Well,
it's I noticed San Fernando Valley. I thought San Gabriel would include Pasadena, oh, no, some Monterey Park, all of those up in that area.
oh, okay,
And
that
I
would be it.
thought Glendale and Sierra Madre was all part of that. That's what I
Oh,
thought.
okay, that makes sense. That makes
Hmm.
sense.
Yeah.
I sometimes my geography is a little funky,
Well,
so
I mean the border, yeah, I think because that's a La Puente, all of those little areas out there is considered
mhm,
San Gabriel Valley.
yeah. Oh, okay.
San Marino, all of those out there. They're part of LA
And I
County.
think a large swath of that valley is now going to be public. land. They're going to make it parkland. So that's going to be kind of cool.
Oh,
Make more of the foothills parkland, which is very nice.
yeah, it's very nice up that way. It's very expensive up that way.
So,
Yes.
all that being said, what'd you say? We don't need no stinking what now?
She said we have
Humidity.
about humidity.
You
I
said
said
we don't have no
we have
stinking
no
humidity.
stinking humidity here in Southern California. What you
Yeah.
talking about, lady?
trying to find someone to ask me about the patches that I didn't have, but they weren't forthcoming. So.
Right, exactly. So yeah, I don't. People always say, there was something that was a meme, a post on Facebook a couple weeks ago, and people were saying, if you could go somewhere else, would you leave Southern California? And I'm like, why? What would be the reason? Weather? No.
I mean, you might be able to get out of some smog.
Yeah, but we've gotten it most of the time. Today as an exception, but most of the time I can see the mountains. I can see all the way up to the San Bernardino Mountains from my house.
Yeah, so
I can see the Hollywood.
Yeah, that little EPA thing that's doing quite nicely for lots of us.
Right, and we can get to it within an hour, 2 hours max. You can get to the mountains, to the desert, to the beach, to the rivers, to the wherever. Why would you go somewhere else?
Just to suffer, just to realize how good you got it, I guess.
Right. To have to say, "Oh darn, I shouldn't have left."
Yeah. I mean, and one thing that I think a lot of people don't realize is that there are lots of places in the country that are nice to live, but there are very few places in the country where within an hour you can get a decent job. You can drive to a place that's still worth going to. Yeah, you drive like an hour outside of North Carolina, or Charlotte, I'm sorry, North Carolina. You're kind of in the sticks,
Yeah.
Which is fine if you want to live in the sticks or do your stick thing, but that's not always the case, I mean, sometimes you want to go to a show, or sometimes you want to go to a museum, or sometimes you want to see a baseball game, or a football game, or I don't know, just sort of like work.
Right. and not have to observe the federal minimum wage, which is $7, versus the California minimum wage, which is $15. I don't know.
There you go. Okay, so let's before I get into trouble, I'll stick with things that I know about. Are you ready for 401k day?
I am ready for 401k day. Cool. Is that like sale day?
What's that?
Is that like sale day?
Yeah, kind of.
All right.
So
I'm ready.
That's going to be the 8th of September, and so I thought it would be good if we got people ready. We got like a little bit over a month to prepare for it. So just
wait a minute, this is a real day?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. I didn't know there was a thing called the 401k day. All right.
See?
Cool.
Yeah. So I'm gonna read your bio, and then we're gonna jump right into it. This is exciting stuff. Are you ready?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, here we go. Please, everyone, welcome my friend and colleague, Crystal Mitchell, to our little chat. Crystal is a business coach and consultant. She's the CEO of Mitchell Business Solutions. She's the co-director of Recycling Black Dollars. She's also the co-host of The Business Zone with Crystal and Gilbert. That's that other online radio show. She's an instructor at Mount San Antonio Community College. She's a certified network for teaching entrepreneurship instructor and a QuickBooks Pro Advisor financial strategist. Welcome, Crystal. It's good to see you.
Thank you very much. I'm always happy to be here on Monday.
Oh, so you get the checks. Good.
Yeah. I get the checks. Always happy to be here. Today I'm still in the midst of biz camp. So today was our second week, starting of our second week.
Oh, wow. So it's
Hmm.
cruising right along, is it?
Well, this week is crunch week because they haven't put the first word on their PowerPoint as of yet. So this week I got to cram all the lessons in by Thursday.
Oh, wow. Wow. Well, we're glad to have you.
Okay, glad to be
Glad to
here.
have Yeah, that sounds like a pretty busy time. Okay, not to mention you have to do your job. The thing you're
Yeah,
mentioning.
right.
Okay, so today we're gonna start getting ready for 401k day, which is actually the um, 8th of September this year. 8th of September.
Okay.
That's when we quote unquote acknowledge 401ks. I think celebrate is a wee bit obtuse, but at least we acknowledge it.
Okay, that's a good thing.
Okay,
Knowledge,
and we're
knowledge.
going to do that. We've got 4 basic questions that we're going to go through. The first one, and I was reading this article yesterday. That's how I know this, and uh, it calls them burning questions, and that just
Mm.
made me go, "Wow!" So here we are. Are you ready for the first burning question?
Yes.
Burning question number 1.
All righty.
Well, before we get to that question, let me say this. Um, the article suggested that it's not, and this is very important because people miss this. It's not enough to contribute to a 401k. Make sure you're doing it the right way, and that's really
Mm.
important because I know a lot of people well, I don't know a lot of people, but I know some people. Okay, I knew one person in 2008 who
Mm-hmm.
said, I did all the right things. I did exactly what I was supposed to do, and I still lost money.
Mm.
So, right there, we have an issue where someone didn't really have a good idea as to how this thing worked. And they followed most of the instructions that people had for them. And they
Mm-hmm.
probably did most of the things that people said they should do. I don't doubt that they did that. However, whoever they were talking to didn't impress upon them or wasn't able to impress upon them that there is a there is a mind shift that we need to get hold of here. And because they had their money in a target date fund, they didn't understand that the people in the target date fund that were running the target date fund at that time, and we know what
Mm-hmm.
those are, right? Target date funds.
Mm-mm.
Those are the funds that have the years after them, like 2020, 2025,
Oh,
2000.
okay. I think we've talked about that before.
So you put your money in and just kind of forget about it, and you get professional managers to manage the money for you.
Okay.
So, just as an aside, before we get into our questions here, there are 2 kinds of target date funds for in general, for the most part, and they're both wonderful. They're both wonderful, but just like there are 2 kinds of hammers, you have to use them differently. So, in my world, with 2 basic kinds of hammers, we have claw hammers. Those are the ones with the claws on them that you can put under a nail and pull nails out. And then
Mm-hmm.
there are ball peen hammers. Those are the ones that have sort of like a point on one end and a hammer part on the other.
Okay.
So they're both good, right? They're both
Mm-hmm.
they're both good, but they're different. So you have to make sure which one you're using, and make sure you adjust your job or your skill set or whatever you're doing accordingly.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, okay. So in the target date world, there are basically 2 kinds of funds. There are funds that are managed to retirement, and there are funds that are managed through retirement. And so the funds that are managed to retirement, the fund manager's team is expecting that once you hit retirement, you're going to take your money essentially out of the fund and you're going to put
Mm-hmm.
it someplace else, as in another IRA, and you're going to get yourself a financial manager. And so they are managing your money up to retirement. And theoretically,
Okay.
you could leave your money in that retirement plan, but it's going to be extremely conservative,
Mm.
right?
Okay. Okay.
Right? So it's like your time horizon is very short. Okay. There are funds out there that we call through retirement. And in those situations, the fund manager's team is expecting that you're going to be in that fund for the next 20, maybe 30 years.
Mm.
They're managing through your retirement lifestyle. So you're going to see, you should see a bit more. aggressiveness in that fund, which means more equity, which means a little bit more volatility, which means that they still have some of that money um, managed to where it takes a loss when the market goes down, a bigger loss, so that it can recover when the market comes back up. Whereas the one is saying you're stuck right here. We're gonna keep what we can. There's gonna be
Mm.
some market attrition. We're just gonna keep what we can until you take it out or for however long. But we're just gonna keep it where it is, right? Very,
Okay.
very. Um, let's see, what's the word? Stable. Let's call it stable.
Staple.
Right?
Okay.
And then there's through retirement where they manage and say, some of your money needs to be stable, but some of that money needs to have some opportunity for growth. So we're going to throw a little bit of that into some equities, a little bit of that so that your money can continue to grow, even though you've retired. Right.
Mm.
It's interesting to note that many retirement advisors, many folks that hit retirement, and I don't have numbers here, so I'm
Mm-hmm.
going to say anecdotally, many folks leave their money inside that retirement plan. Um, Number one, you have professional management. Number two, you have protections that you don't have necessarily outside of the retirement plan, fiduciary protections. You have, uh, you know, ways to get at that money. I mean, it's just a safe place, quote unquote. Some may think of it as a safe place to be. You know the people, your money's going to be taken care of. You know the advisor. You have this feeling of safety there.
Right.
Uh, and so lots of companies are, even depending on the size of them, but lots of companies are saying, hey, to their former employees, you don't have to move your money. You can leave it right here, and you can set up a payment plan, to get a check every now and then, or you can pull money out with your required minimum distributions when you need to. You can manage your asset right here. You don't have to leave it. And I think those organizations, to use I think to use a word that I don't think a lot of people use, but they're a bit more paternal. They're a bit more like, okay, you're part of the family. Let's sort of keep you in the family kind of thing. Does that make
Mm-hmm.
sense? A little bit more
Mm-hmm.
paternal.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas companies that have funds that just stop right there, they're kind of looking for you to get out, right? You retire, you go and get your IRA and do your thing, and we're not going to pay the fees for you to be in because you're not working here. You're not going to
Mm-hmm.
receive benefit because you're not working here. All
Right.
that to say, um, is all that to say, uh, when you're investing in a retirement plan, you want to make sure you know where it is, and that's one of our questions as we get down the way. But you want to know what you're investing in, and as a participant, you have the right to do that. You have the
Mm.
right to know where your
Okay.
money is. So, but before we get into that, um, and I would say also you want to have the right mindset. So if this is sounding strange to you, if your advisor hasn't said to you, you want to have the right mindset with regard to investing. You want to connect with that advisor and say, hey, what is the right mindset? And if that person says something like, well, when your stocks go up, that's good, and when the stocks go bad, that's bad, and so you want to protect yourself against that. If that person says that, then you should run. You should find some other way to get yourself another advisor, because that person doesn't really have your best interest at heart. Or if they
Mm.
do, they don't understand the 401k philosophy, which is buy low and sell high.
Right.
Buy low and sell high means that we take advantage of market downturns and we take advantage of market upturns. And that's the attitude that you want. How do I take advantage of this situation? It's a different way of thinking. So,
Mm.
first question or first thing you want to get ready, take care of um, when you are thinking about your retirement plan. You have got that mindset of taking advantage of market upturns and downturns. First thing
Mm-hmm.
you want to ask, according to this particular article, is, do I get a match? Now, here's the deal. Matches are not automatic. They are not something that a company has to give you. They are a
Mm.
benefit. Some
Mm.
people call them free money. Some people suggest that that's the company just giving you money because they like you. I totally disagree. Totally disagree. I've said for years, a match is money that your employer believes you're worth. And if you suggest that you don't want that money, that is, you don't put that money in the plan, you're in effect telling your employer, you know what, I don't need that 4%. You just keep that. That's what you're saying. Right? You don't have to. So get the match. If you can't put very much money in the plan, get the match, because the match is extra cash. Let's say your match is 4%. That's the very common one, right? We call that a safe harbor. You get 4%.
Right.
So you put in the first 3%, and then the company matches 100% up to the first 3%, and then they match 50% on the 2%. That's a very common match. So you put in 5, they put in 4. Very common match. Very common.
Okay.
Very common. Get the 5. Put in your 5%. Get that 4%. I'm just going to tell you right now. Get the money. So
now, why would a person not do that?
Well, they would not do that because they think, I don't have the money to contribute. Or they would say, I don't want to have I don't trust this employer. I don't want them touching my money. Or I don't understand that I don't need to go to Starbucks 5 times a week. I only need to go once a week, and I need to put some money in the plan. Or they may think, my dad died at 42. I'm 38. I'm probably not going to make it to retirement.
Okay, that's bleak, but all right.
Right? Or they may think, you know what, we can do this next year because I'd rather go on vacation this year.
Oh, okay.
I'm going to go on vacation to go here or go here. Okay. So obviously that person doesn't understand the importance of saving for their future. They may think, you know what, I'll deal with this when I get there. I got bills to pay now, which is realistic.
Okay.
I got to take care of business right now. I have time to take care of that if I get there. Right? Okay. So
circumstantial then, and life takes precedence.
There you go. There you go. So if the company matches, they don't have to, but if they do, take advantage of that. Do what you can to get that. Get the match. Most financial advisors suggest that people save between 10 and 15% of their income to reach their retirement goal. 10 to 15%. You put in 5, your company puts in 4, you're at 9. That's pretty cool. Right? Yeah. You're kind of close to your goal there. That's pretty good, right? So we want to do that if we can. Okay. Now, let's say your company doesn't match. They haven't gotten to that point where they match. Let's say they don't match. It's between you, me, and the fence post. It's not your company's job to prepare you for retirement. It's actually your job to save for your retirement, right? So if they offer a plan, and even though they don't match, you still need to put money away so that you can prepare for your own retirement. That's kind of the way that goes.
They're like, wait, that's my perk.
Exactly, right?
Right.
So, and for those of us that are self-employed, we don't have a match from the company. We still have to pay. We still have to save for retirement, though. So starting a 401k when you're self-employed, still a good idea. Still a good idea to get that tax break. Still a good idea to save that money so that you can reach your retirement goal, so that you can do something else when you want to start your, how do you put it?
Your second act.
Your second act, yes. Your second act, or your third act, or your 2.5 act, because you got one going, you got another one going, but still got the second one going. So
it's all part of that final chapter. So you're in the 4th quarter.
There you go.
And just depending on whether it's 2 minutes in the game, or it's the whole, what is it, 15 minutes per
15
quarter?
Minutes, yeah.
Or you got a whole 15 minutes.
There you go. All right. So number 1, it's not your employer's job to give you a match. If they give you a match, take it. Get the match. And talk to your financial advisor about what you should do with it, right? What should you do? Okay. So that's number 1. see if there's a match. That's real money.
Mm-hmm.
The second question they have is how are my assets allocated? This is so important. It's so important to me. As you know, I spend a lot of time talking with participants about their asset allocation. That is the way their monies are invested. Now, today we have these things called target date funds, um, balance funds, where people kind of they're sort of like fire and forget. You put your money in the 20, 30, or depending on whatever fund it is that matches the decade or the year that you're going to retire, and you get
Mm-hmm.
professional management, and they manage your assets based on your age and when you're going to turn 65. I don't
Right.
see anything wrong with that. A lot of very wealthy people I know that are in this business use those kinds of funds because you can't beat people that do this every day. It's not like they're that much smarter than you. They're not smarter than you at all. It's just they do this all the time. So they kind of know what's up, right? You
Right.
can't beat that. That's a great way to go. My only problem with target date funds is that in general, they manage the funds based on your age and when you're going to turn 65.
Mm. Okay.
So the only issue with that is when I first graduated from college, a little bit earlier than when you did, but when I first graduated from college, um, I looked pretty much the same like all the other graduates from college. We didn't have a
Mm-hmm.
job, and we needed to get beer, and we were kind of hoping that our girlfriends would say yes. That was pretty much our thing,
Your thing. Your thing.
That was our thing. That was our milieu. That's what we worried about. And if we had beer, life was good, right?
Okay. Uh,
Once we got into our 30s, especially our early 30s, some of us started changing. Some of us started getting married. Some of our parents started to pass away. Some of our little sisters and brothers had to live with us. Some of us
Mm-hmm.
got good or better jobs. Some of us went back to school and got more debt. So once we got into our 30s, we looked decidedly different from one another.
Right.
But the target date fund managed your assets just like you looked like everybody else. And that's the
Mm.
only issue that I have with them is that often they manage one person's money just like they make another person's money, and we're not all the same. Some of us are more aggressive, some of us are less aggressive for whatever reasons. Some of us are married and we decide that this person should take the risk and this person shouldn't take the risk because that's the way we balance our lives, or
Right.
vice
Right.
versa, or what have you. Right?
Mm-hmm.
All kinds of things are different. So balanced, a target date fund that has a risk tolerance quotient, I think that's a superior option. However, it doesn't matter wherever you are. The most important thing is to know what it is that you have. What is your asset allocation? And I would say the best asset allocation is, I'm big on this. The best asset allocation is the one where you take the questionnaire. Every mutual fund company, every record keeper company, mutual fund company out there has one. Take the questionnaire. It should be between 8 and 10 questions. We don't want this to take a long time.
Mm-hmm.
And based on that, have your financial advisor help you choose the right mix of stocks and bonds for you. You cannot
Right.
get better than that. You just
Right.
can't.
Right. Right.
That's just the way to go. That's the way to go. That's it. If you don't have time, that 30 minutes, or if you're afraid, then at least know how the target date fund is being managed, and that you can get from your financial advisor. They want to tell you that. You're paying them to tell you that. So call them up and ask them how that works. There's a very good chance they chose that fund anyway. They know why they did. So do that, right? So know the devil that you're dealing with.
Right. Take the guesswork out.
Yeah, that way you can
Mm-hmm.
sleep a little bit.
Right.
And
Right.
that way
Right.
when the market takes changes or does changes, you'll know, oh, I can expect my portfolio to react this way because this happened. And sleep easy at night. That's a lot
Mm-hmm.
better than I don't know what's going on. I don't know what these people are doing. I put my money in and I don't know what happened. The words I don't know are not good.
Not when it comes to your money.
Yeah, right.
At least in my world, anyway.
There you go. There you go. There you go.
Yeah.
Okay. So, um, the next question is pretty important in a lot of ways, depending on, for us regular people, is pretty important. And that is, what am I paying for my investments? You deserve to know. Um, the simple, ugly truth is that in many situations, the money to pay for your investment is coming out of your return, right? That is to say, if you get a return of 15% on your portfolio and you have fees that are 2%, which is not horribly out of the reason, but possibly a little high, then your return was actually 17%, but you needed to pay somebody 2% to manage the assets and for the 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 right to be a 401k plan, all those rules and regulations, what have you. Well, we all got to make money. My fee comes out of that. I'm taking my fee that people pay me. That comes out of the return as well. And I would say, even if most of my work is fee based, but you still got to pay it, right? So whether it comes out from the fund company or it comes out of your other pocket, you still have to pay the money. If you go to buy a car, you still got to pay the commission. Most of us have jobs, and if we have a job, there are expenses associated with that job. And if we have a job that produces product, somebody's got to pay us to work. So don't get bent out of shape, but understand that cost is important. Cost is important. So I would say we want to be reasonable with that cost. Now, most financial advisors think that everyone else should have their costs reduced and that they shouldn't. Right? So if I'm a financial advisor, I'm going to make sure that everybody else is as cheap as possible. But of course, I want to make as much money as I can. I promise not to buy a boat on your contribution.
Well, that's a good promise.
But,
they can feel good that you're working for them, not for their money only, right? Because sometimes there is a definite difference for you working for me and advising me appropriately versus you just working for your fee.
Exactly. Well said. Well said. So hopefully you have a financial advisor that is working for your best interest. They're supposed to. They're supposed to.
Right.
They're not trying to pad their pocket. Right. So, so please understand that you are paying, and you need to pay. That's the deal, because we all need to, pay the mortgage. But the whole boat payment doesn't need to come out of your check, right? So fees do need to be reasonable. And it's the job of your human resources department and of your financial advisor to make sure that the fees are reasonable. And now when the Department of Labor suggests, and they do suggest, that fees ought to be reasonable, they don't think that fees should be the lowest in town, because there are some people well, let me put it to you this way. There are lots of cars on the road, right? There are very expensive and small cars. There are very large and inexpensive cars. There are cars with 2 seats, cars with 4 seats, cars with trunks, cars that are station wagons. There's all kinds of cars on the road. And there's all kinds of modifications and different pieces in a retirement plan. So you shouldn't expect that your plan is more expensive or less expensive than others. Don't do that.
Right.
But you do want to know that those fees are reasonable. So it's okay to say, why are you paying this much to these people? And your human resources person ought to be able to say, because they give us this and we think that's worth it. Okay, that's cool. Right? They are trying, your HR person and your plan sponsor, they have the responsibility of managing that plan in your best interest. And sometimes that takes money to do. So having the cheapest plan is never, ever a good idea. Don't ever think that having the cheapest one is better. It's not good.
Right, right,
So
right, right.
yeah. Yeah, so that's the deal. Is it going to take away from the amount of money that you had? Yeah, over the long run, 20, 30 years, 1%, that adds up. It's most certainly add up, right? This says here, 1% of assets, that's over $100,000 over a long term could be $1,000.
Mm,
That's that's a lot of money.
that is.
Yeah, yeah, that's a lot of money. Yeah, so you
But
know,
I think when it comes to your money, though, again, it's not about the cost. I mean, you definitely want quality. You want expertise. You want someone that really truly knows what the heck they're doing when it comes to your money. So as I tell my people, it's all about the research and making sure you interview and make sure that you guys have compatible mindsets in how your money should be invested. That's what I say.
yeah, I think you're absolutely right. And I think it also means you have access. So because you're paying, you don't have to be alone. You don't have to like wonder what should I do. You have someone you can call. You've got a bunch of people you can
Hmm.
call and say, "Hey, explain this to me." And they
Right,
want to do it.
right.
They want to explain it to you. I used to do phone work in a call center, and people would sometimes call and say, "How do I make an exchange?" And I would tell them how to make an exchange. Or they would call and say, "How do I change my password?" or something like that. And I
Hmm.
would be able to help them do that. And then every now and then someone would call and say, "What's the difference between a large growth and a small growth company?" And that was, I would call up my girlfriend after that and say, "I got a great call today." And she would be like, "Oh boy." And I would tell her all about it. And so she would think, "Oh dear, that's what we live for, that kind of stuff."
Mm.
What is asset allocation? We love that. What's the difference between bonds and stocks? Or I don't know how to manage my portfolio. Or what does manage your portfolio mean? Those are the kind of questions we want. Though that's the good stuff right there. So um, call up and ask. We want to we
Mm.
want to talk about that. And I'm an advisor, and I'm actually running both sides of the house, sales and administration. I will definitely slow down and and be grateful that someone asked me a question with regard to asset allocation or what does this mean or a definition or a strange term. Definitely want to do that.
Mm.
So
Okay.
not bothering anyone if you don't know.
Hmm.
Okay. And the last question here, which I found was kind of interesting. The last question here was, do you have a Roth option or not? That's very, very interesting. Lots of plans don't have Roth options.
Mm. Okay, so it's
Even
not part of the process. It's
yeah, it's something that they have to say. Yeah, we're going to do that when they design the plan, right?
okay. Okay.
And we
And
know the
it,
difference. Go ahead.
and it can be incorporated in. So if someone is, you're sitting down with a new client, a new company, then you're laying out, the benefits for obviously the business owner as well as, and then these are kind of like optional items.
Yes, ma'am. Exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Exactly. And when we're
Okay.
reviewing when we are reviewing the plan, um, yeah, some people will say, I've got loans where, you know, a person can have 3 loans out at a time. So they're using the 401k as a bank. So, well, that's not the way I had this thing started. So let's cut back on the loan option. Okay, you need to do that. Or I was just in a meeting a week or two ago, and they didn't want to have loans at all. They're like, look, this is retirement money. It's not for people to get money. And I said, in this day and age, that's a little harsh. so many of us are living paycheck to paycheck, and sometimes we need a little bit of help. So if you're going to want people to contribute to the plan, a sweetener could be, if you need it, it's not something we encourage, or not something we encourage, but if you need to take a loan because whatever happened, then there's some money there.
Okay.
So it's a, it's a, it depends on the plan sponsor and how they feel, but it's not automatic. It's not guaranteed.
Okay.
So the Roth, you put the money in, after tax, it grows tax free. When it comes time to pull the money out, there's no required minimum distribution, and you can pull out as much as you want, right? Good idea. So then the question becomes, and I think we've talked about it before, what if my company doesn't offer a Roth section of a 401k? And please don't call it a Roth 401k. Please don't do that. Just call it the Roth section of your 401k. Please be a little educated. It's the Roth section of your 401k. It's a Roth contribution, not a Roth 401k. So
your pet peeve, huh?
Does it sound like that?
A little bit. Professional pet peeve.
So let's say your company doesn't have a Roth section for the 401k.
Okay.
If you can make an in-service withdrawal, which means that for most of us, that means we're older than the age of 59 and a half. If we can do that, then we can do what's called a backdoor Roth IRA. And that's a situation where we would actually take the money out of our 401k plan, do an asset transfer to a IRA, pay the taxes on the money, and convert from that IRA to the Roth IRA. So we would do a withdrawal to an IRA and then convert and pay the taxes, put that money inside the Roth. So depending on your income, because there are income limits for how much you can convert, but they're dramatically better than how much you can transfer. So for most people, the backdoor Roth IRA is a good idea. They can get that Roth component in their plan, even though they only have a traditional plan. Heretofore, even if you did contribute to the Roth, your employer's match would still be pre-tax. However, and I want to say it's 2025, I'm not sure, I'll check that, but coming soon, the 2.0, Secure Act 2.0, modified the rules so that now, if employers want to, they can make contributions to a person's Roth contributions that are matching as after-tax contributions. I haven't seen how that's going to work. I don't know how the accounting is going to work. That's part of the problem. Congress got up this great idea, but they forgot to tell us how to make it work. So no one's doing it. No one's doing it yet.
Okay.
We got some time before it becomes actually legal. But that's coming down the path where it's possible for employers to make after-tax contributions. I would say the first few employers that do that, I would say, I don't really see it taking off. Because if you think about it, making pre-tax contributions is your employer's way of giving you money that they can use to reduce their tax liability. So, because they're giving you money that they can write off, right?
Okay.
So I can't see them doing that. Maybe they'll change what the write-off means, and they'll consider that after-tax money that way. I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see. But just know that come a few years from now, that's going to be something to think about. Maybe within the next couple of years is those contributions that are Roth contributions. But for now, right now, the employer contributions are pre-tax. So even if you do Roth contributions, the money that the employer gives you is still pre-tax.
Oh,
That's the
okay.
way the situation is now. And then
Mm-hmm.
if your company doesn't have a Roth section of their 401k, because not everyone does, consider the backdoor Roth IRA. You're
Mm.
not limited to that $6,000, right? You can transfer as much as you want, and then you can convert that depending on what your income is. But you're certainly not um, limited to the $6,600 that you can put in as someone over 50 into the Roth IRA.
Oh, okay. Okay.
All right, so that's that. The backdoor Roth IRA.
So it's 401k day is May what September what?
September 8th.
So
Is that
uh
September 8th?
it's September. So does that mean that representatives are going to companies, or should employees be contacting their representative? How should that work?
Say that again now.
So
Employees.
is the representative or advisor already on it, or does the employee have to reach out to a representative to help direct them to be ready for 401k day?
Good question. I tell you, I got into this business because I love telling people um, that the end is not as dire as it could be, and I love showing them how they can, uh, monetarily achieve their dreams.
Right.
And how and help them put together a plan. But unfortunately, um, there aren't very many companies out there that are existing in order to help people retire. That's just not the way business owners think. They don't think, well,
Ah.
I'll start this company so that folks can pay their mortgage, so that they can retire, so they can. That's not the way they think. They think I started this company because I need to make money. So I think many companies that I serve, um, they love the idea of the benefit. They don't have the ability to take people off the floor to come and talk to me. And
Okay.
that's sad. We have
Mm.
special days for that where I get to go out and they'll do things to their operations so that their folks can have an audience with me. And I really, really do appreciate it.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, so, as to whether financial advisors are going to try and schedule to meet with everybody on the 8th of September, I would say if you can do that, you don't have enough clients, A. B, you get some more clients. B, I can't see a company saying, I can't see enough companies saying on that one day.
Okay. Okay.
That's kind of do a deal.
Mm. So it's up to the employee to be at
Yeah.
least check out the conversations on the patio
There you go. There you
and
go.
do some research and make sure you're all on point with the 4 or 5. Is it 5 questions? There's 5 questions, right?
There's four
4 questions.
burning
Burning
questions.
questions. Okay.
Burning questions.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, awesome. Well, that was very helpful information.
Yeah, and that's pretty much what I have to talk about today. So, how about if I read your bio one more time
All
so people
righty.
know who it is that you are, and
Uh-huh.
and I'll give you the last word, and then we will get back at it. And Monday, I don't think I'll be able to see you Monday, so maybe
Oh,
not Monday, but certainly back the
that
next.
works because I'm deep in getting kids ready for competition day.
Ah,
So until the end of the month, we actually have competition day on the 27th.
oh wow,
Yeah,
okay,
so that
that's quick.
works. Yeah, it's quick. This is quick. This is incubator 101 for getting a business up, not up and running, but at least the idea investigated, researched, and able to pitch on it.
Nice, nice.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you, Crystal. It has always, and it always, um, as always, rather, it was a pleasure.
Yes.
Please, everyone, let's say so long to Crystal today. She is a business coach and consultant, CEO of Mitchell Business Solutions. She's the co director of Recycling Black Dollars. She's a co host of The Business Zone with Crystal and Gilbert, a weekly online radio show, an instructor at Mount San Antonio Community College. She's a certified network for teaching entrepreneurship instructor, and a QuickBooks Pro Advisor financial strategist. Hey, Crystal, thanks for hanging out with me.
It's awesome, awesome. So we'll be back on the 31st, I guess.
That sounds about right.
That's the end of the month, the last
Okay.
day of the month, actually.
Okay.
So look forward to it. You have a fantastic vacation. I assume that's what this is a vacation.
Actually, I got to do some work. I go
Oh,
out there for a conference, do some work. But you know
okay.
me, the vacation is around the corner. The vacation will happen. So,
Okay.
but I am going out there to do some work. Yeah.
Okay. Well, enjoy the work and then enjoy the benefit of having a little fun while you're there.
There you go.
Okay.
That's the-
All righty. And everyone, again, just it's always good. Just check in and stay on top of your money, all of it, especially the money that you're targeting for your retirement, because things happen when you retire and you don't have an influx of money. That's what I say.
Well said.
Don't leave it to chance.
Well said. Thank you, man.
Okay.
I'll see you next time.
All righty. Bye bye, everyone.